Method overloading is a concept wherein we can have multiple methods with the same name inside the class, but they will be different in their number of arguments. Let's say I am taking a class where two methods are there and both the method names are same. But what is different? The number of arguments I'm going to keep inside those methods are different. So then we can say those methods are your overloaded methods. But when it comes to Python do not support the concept of method overloading, because the aim of method overloading is to include multiple methods with the same name. But what Python allows you, it allows you to write multiple methods with the same name with different number of arguments. But the only method which will be considered is the last defined method. So though it is not possible, the method overloading is not directly possible, but if you're trying to declare multiple methods with the same name and with different arguments, then Python will only consider the last defined method. Let's say, for example, here we took some class called test, and you can see we have started defining a method m1 and there are no arguments because self is there, it is an instance method and without having any argument. Now the same method name I'm defining once again m1. This time I see there is one argument here apart from self. Now once again we are defining m1 here. This time apart from self there are two arguments. So all these three methods have a common name, that is m1, m1 and m1. So what is different? M1 has no arguments, whereas this m1 has one argument and this m1 method has two arguments. So now because Python is allowing you to write this kind of methods, but it will always consider only the last method. The method m1 where it is taking two parameters or two arguments. This is the only method which is accepted. So now if I'm creating an object of this class, let's say I'm creating t equal to test, so t is the object. Now using this object, let's say I'm calling m1. So when I'm calling m1 here, you can see there are no arguments here, which means this will match with this method where there are no arguments. But it will raise an error. It will raise an error because even though I have written this method m1 without any arguments, this is not considered because as per the guideline, only the last method, only this method is considered. So this method is looking for how many arguments? Two arguments. So when I'm trying to call this method m1 without any argument, so it does not match with number of arguments specified here. Hence this will show an error. Similarly, when I'm going for the second one where m1 method is again called, but this time how many arguments I'm passing? Only one. But once again, this is the only method that is allowed. So we have two arguments here, but I am passing only one. So this also not acceptable. Now the last one where we are trying to call the m1 method with two arguments. So now this call matches exactly with this x and y or two arguments in this particular m1 method. So this will now execute. So if I am going to change the order, suppose this middle one I'll bring it to the last. So then this will fail because my last method looking for how many arguments? One argument. So this will fail. Even this also fail. Only this will be passed. So let us see with an example. So in this example, like we have taken m1 with no parameter, no arguments, m1 with one argument, m1 with two arguments. So this is an object of this test class created. Now when I invoke this t.m1, okay, so let's say I'm commenting these two. So now I'm calling m1 without any argument. So this is going to match with this method but this method is not defined at the last, hence this will not be considered at all. So now when I'm going to save and run this, I will be getting an error. So error saying that it is looking for two arguments, but only nothing has been passed here, right? So now let us see if I'm going to change this. Now let's say we are going to comment this one. Let's say we activate the second one. So second one is calling M1 method where it is having one argument. So this also going to produce an error. See, we are getting the error because we are looking for M1 method to be passed with two arguments, but I have supplied only one argument. Now let us check with the third one. See, if I comment this and I call now. So now we are calling M1 with two arguments. So which exactly matches with this. Hence, this is going to give me the output like two argument method. So when I run this, you can see we are getting this.